Today in this short video we're going to talk about pacing in general. The three areas that we're going to cover are rhythm recognition, specifically third degree heart block, and some tips and tricks on figuring that out. Secondly, we're going to talk about when you come out of cardiac arrest and have return of spontaneous circulation and need to pace, a common error that occurs and how to mitigate that. And third, we're going to talk about critically ill patients that need to be paced fast and how to do that efficiently and as quick as possible. So the first thing we're going to talk about is rhythm recognition of third degree heart block. And as we all know, we know that that means that P waves are independent of QRSs. The easiest way to find that out is to look for P waves in the T waves. So we know that third degree heart block can be narrow or wide depending on where it is in the AV junction or above or below, but more importantly, nothing should ever drop in the area of repolarization, the area of the ST segment, unless there's dissociation. So when you see P waves like these here that are right in the area of repolarization, that's not possible in any other rhythm other than third degree heart block. So that's your first cue that it's third degree. So wide, slow, and P waves in the T waves should be the way that you quickly recognize third degree heart block from any other heart block. Next, we're going to talk about when you have cardiac arrest and you get return of spontaneous circulation and you end up with a pulse but a rhythm that looks like this, third degree heart block. And the first thing that people will do will say, well, let's pace that. And they have the pads on because they have cardiac arrest going on. And so they turn on the pacer, and you'll notice that the machine automatically moves to lead 2 to do its sensing, and we lose the EKG. So it's really important to remember that if you ever think that you're going to need to pace or you want to plan ahead just in case you need to pace, you want to have both the leads and the paddles on. Once the leads and the pads are on, then we can turn on the pacer. And we notice it automatically moves into lead 2, and we get pacer spikes along with our intrinsic rhythm. So this is not a rhythm that is pacing or getting capture every other beat. This is the intrinsic rhythm, the patient's underlying rhythm, and then pacer spikes at twice the rate of the intrinsic rhythm because we have it set at 60 and the rate is about 30. So now that we have the pacer on and we can see pacer spikes and we don't have capture, the first thing that we need to remember is in non-demand pacing, which is what we use out in the field, the only way that you know that you have capture electrically on the monitor is when the rhythm is completely taken over by the pacer and there are no underlying intrinsic beats. So if you're looking at a rhythm and you see the underlying rhythm in it while you're trying to pace, you do not have capture. So now we're talking about critically ill patients, not patients that you think need a pacer or that we need to have a meeting about, but patients who are critically ill, and if you don't pace them soon, you might be doing CPR. The recommended way of doing that is make sure you have the pads and the leads on, turn on the pacer button, go to the current, click on the current, and then spin the dial all the way up to 200 and get immediate capture. You can see now that every single beat is a wide complex beat after a pacer spike, and the underlying rhythm is no longer available to see. That is true capture electrically. Then we want to go to the patient and verify that mechanically. Once you've got capture immediately like that, you notice that took me 3 seconds to do, then you're going to come in here once you have capture and back your milliamps down until you lose capture. And then you're going to bump it up until you get capture. And then we're going to go one set above that location so that we can hold capture. So what I accomplished there was immediate pacer capture of this patient so that we didn't have to do CPR, and then I came and backed it back down to where I lost it and then bumped it back up 10%. So in summary, we know now that third degree heart block can be narrow or wide, but it is the only rhythm where P waves fall in the area of repolarization, or other words, P waves in the T waves. 2, we know that we need to have both the pads and the leads on in order to pace. And 3, we now know that there's an easy, fast way to know whether or not you're ever going to get capture, and also to get capture immediately. If I go all the way up to 200 milliamps and I don't get capture, then I need to do something different. I didn't need to spend more than 2 seconds to figure that out. And if I have capture, and I can back it down until I lose capture and then bump it up a little bit to hold capture.